So for this video, we will discuss the migration from Eastern Europe to Western Europe. So we're going to start with the type of migration that is shown from this. Basically, we can differentiate the migration from refugees by a different factor. And refugees are basically people that are forced to leave and they can't return for some sort of reason. And migration is they just want to leave, but they're not forced. There is a forced migration, and that would be refugees are of the forced migration. So now this would typically be defined by different time periods. For modern, it would be more of a migration. So migration. But for previously, during the Soviet era and before, it would be more of refugee due to political prisoners and whoever needed to leave for these political reasons, whatever they did to the government. And internal versus international, it can be both, but it's more international because they also fled to other areas, not just Western Europe. But in a specific example, it would be more of an internal thing, so internal. But interregional versus interregional, it would be neither. The reason for this is that the interregional is within the region. These people, Europe is not really a region. These people are moving from one side of Europe to the other. So they're going from one side of this country to another side. So it's not exactly they're going into the region or they're moving within this region. They're just going to Western Europe. And it can't be intra-regional either. Because again, it does not occur in the region, therefore by definition it cannot be either. So the question is, where is this all happening? In order to show this, I will bring out this. This will show the main patterns of migration. I apologize for the very not exactly good image and that it's not showing much, but it shows above our standard over here that from Eastern Europe it's going to the west general direction, as well as showing the United States and such areas that's from South America going upward. But then when we return back here, so where is this happening? Again, it's going from Eastern Europe, Russian areas. You have your Baltics. It's going from there to there, and then all to Western Europe, specifically the United Kingdom, in fact. And the main factors responsible for this. So we have our push and pull factors. So basically, the push factor could be the alcoholism in Russia, specifically, and the high crime rates in Eastern Europe. These push factors are push factors because, number one, no one wants to be around an entire society that's based on vodka and alcohol, because the society won't function properly, and therefore there will be increased in crime rate as well. Because when Russia broke out of the Soviet ties, the crime filled in to fill the void, the economic void that was present, and those are the push factors to Western Europe. So then we have whatever our pull factors. So our pull factors would mainly be the economic opportunity, opportunity. I know my penmanship is not the best, but economic opportunity. They have more jobs. There's more things they can do. Unfortunately, they typically misuse this because when they go from Eastern Europe to Western Europe, they go to the UK. And typically when they hit at the UK, they're bringing their crime over to the UK. And their opportunities economically are more of crime than actual finding a job. So basically, what effects has this movement had on the place of origin and destination? Basically, Russia is still growing in somewhat of a population, but it's constantly being reduced by the constant outward migration because no one really wants to be in Russia at the time. So that's what it basically is. And on the destination, well, Western Europe does have an increase in crime rate and also a constant increase in well, a decrease in tolerance for guest workers and all these new people that are coming over because they're taking the jobs of the people. So they're going to provide these migration obstacles for those Eastern Europeans that try to go westward. Typically, for Eastern Europe, it would be advisable to go to North America if they can rather than Western Europe because there are more opportunities in America than in Western Europe because the Western Europe has guest workers from Muslim areas, which causes this whole problem and influx in Eastern Europe. So that was basically all we had to discuss. But it's just important to note also that when I went to describe about the refugees, I was saying that they were political refugees. So the reason that they're political refugees is because the Soviet government, when people spoke out against the communist government, they would often be jailed and such. So these people that are escaping the government had to have this forced migration to the Western areas. This is another reason why the UK is really good because most people that were fleeing as political refugees back in the time went to the United Kingdom in order to provide whatever they needed and write whatever they wanted to write about whatever the topic. Typically, if they were opposed to communism, they would denounce communism. So that's basically it for Eastern European migration to Western Europe.